Quick history: the Battle of Athens. The Battle of Athens was an armed rebellion that took place in Athens, Tennessee between World War II veterans and the Athens Sheriff's Department in 1946. It started when violence broke out at polling places, a man being shot after casting his ballot. This and many other things caused locals to suspect voting fraud. On August 2nd, a group of WW2 vets laid siege on where the ballots were being held, the group and deputies exchanging gunfire. Eventually, the group used dynamite to break into where the ballots were being stored, looking through them and finding evidence of voter fraud, eventually using this to establish a new government in Athens to replace the old corrupt one.
Johns Hopkins puts out a report claiming that we need more gun control to prevent another civil war. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC, P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like my channel, like my content and what I do here, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. PSA for my Connecticut residents: if you plan on getting your Connecticut pistol permit, please get the training done before July 2024, because then after that it gets longer, harder, and more expensive to do so, just to disincentivize you, the law-abiding public, from going out and getting your permit in order to purchase a firearm. If you have your permit, watch the expiration date. Do not let it expire. If it expires after July, you're going to have to do the new training. There is a link to the online renewal process for pistol permits in the description box. Keep an eye on that. Let's talk about this now. Johns Hopkins has released a study, and this report comes from the Center for Gun Violence Solutions, which is part of Johns Hopkins School of Public Health, which has been aptly renamed the Bloomberg Public School of Health because Bloomberg put $100 million into it. And you can immediately see where this becomes a partisan hack job. But funny enough, they call the study Defending Democracy, Addressing the Danger of Armed Insurrection. And if I was to say that this was not a lopsided, very partisan hack job, I'd be so off the mark, it wouldn't even be funny. The three people involved in this are all lawyers. I'm going to bring you in right here. Okay? The three lawyers, anti-gun lawyers to start with. Okay? And I'm going to bring up their information. The report was written by Tim Carey, Kelly Roscombe, and Joshua Horowitz. Carey is the law and policy advisor at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. According to his bio, he is responsible for drafting legislation, regulations, legal reports, legislative testimony, fact sheets, and other advocacy materials. Before moving to Johns Hopkins, Carey was the law and policy staff attorney for the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence and the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence. Next person, Roscombe, is the Director of Law and Policy at Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. Prior to joining Johns Hopkins, she was a General Counsel and Legal Director for the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence and the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence. Roscombe's bio also states she interned at the Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence. Horowitz is the co-director of the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. Before joining Johns Hopkins, he too worked at the Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence and the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence, serving as executive director. Now, you can already see the slant this is going to have. I'm going to bring you into their sponsors. These are people who sponsored the study. The Joyce Foundation and the Morningstar Foundation for supplying core support for this report. The Joyce Foundation is firmly committed to gun control. According to their website, the Joyce Foundation seeks to advance and implement federal, state, and local policies and practices that reduce easy accessibility of guns to those at risk of violence, support police to reduce easy accessibility of guns to those at risk of violence, reduce the next generation's exposure to gun violence, education on the risks of gun ownership, litigate to defend evidence-based gun policies and challenge extreme gun rights policies and practices. And the Morningstar Foundation, these are basically a grant group, and they have given money to Educational Fund to Stop Gun Violence, the Southern Poverty Law Center, States United to Prevent Gun Violence, Violence Policy Center. Now, why did I read all that? I just want to show you who the people are who are writing this report and who the people are who are supporting the writing of this report, so you understand exactly where this is coming from. But a recent report by the Center for Gun Violence Solutions, which is part of Johns Hopkins Michael Bloomberg School of Public Health, conflates private gun ownership with armed insurrection in order to advocate for expanded gun control. And what they did was, once again, they used the public health angle. I've talked about that a lot. But the Center for Gun Violence admits it uses a public health approach to identify gun control solutions, even though a gun is an inanimate object, not a disease, ailment, or disorder. The school further claims it uses rigorous scientific research to identify a range of innovative solutions to gun violence. However, the author's rigorous scientific research turns out to be nothing more than false claims gleaned from biased stories from the legacy media and other anti-gun organizations that masquerade as actual news websites. We know this already. But what they're trying to do is, and they specifically name in this study, January 6th, without actually acknowledging that there were no firearms present on that day, and the only person killed was an unarmed woman by Capitol Police. They ignore all that just to say, well, because of what happened on January 6th, we got to look at gun ownership and the potential for armed insurrection. And they actually go to history to mention events that had happened. Okay. They had talked about the Shays Rebellion, 1786, the Whiskey Rebellion, 1791, and the American Civil War. These are their examples of armed insurrections that you're using to justify their study of why we should need more gun control so we can prevent an armed insurrection. I look at this and I only see another step in a long line of attempts to circumvent the Second Amendment. You have 3 anti-gun lawyers writing a study funded by anti-gun groups. What do you think the end result was going to be? What conclusions would they come to? It's because of private gun ownership that we need more gun control because there might be an armed insurrection. I think that was the point of the American Revolution. I thought that was the point. Obviously, this is a lopsided, one-minded report. Once again, trying to justify gun control by any means possible. And I'm going to actually put the study, it's 32 pages, but I'm going to put the study in there. You can look at it, breeze through it. But, like I said, anti-gun lawyers writing a study funded by anti-gun groups. What do you expect? But as always, we should always be vigilant and know exactly what they are up to, because I'm sure this report's going to end up in the Biden's new Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and it's going to spread out to the states, as that government office is now a hub for gun control moves across states in the union. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.